Yes, he did.
Okay. Where is he at in this process, and what do you think about tomorrow?
We'll see tomorrow. Yeah. But he went through everything. And again, it's how he's feeling tomorrow and what the swelling looks like. But he was good today.
With Jarrett, what are you liking about just how he's like fitting with Karis and Donovan, and just kind of the way that they are working off one another?
He has an understanding of what each of them needs. You know, they play the pick and roll differently, and I think he's found the right rhythm with both of them. You know, like he knows to set and hold the screens longer with Donovan. You know, he knows to set it and get out quicker with Karis. Like, so he's got a good tempo and understanding of, you know, what those guys need in pick and roll and how he can help them both.
And obviously, you just saw Boston lost. How helpful is that in this process of like just saw them overtime game in preparation for tomorrow?
I mean, it makes it easy and it's fresh on guys' minds. You know, the adjustments, the things that they do well, things that they did that hurt us. You know, all those things are fresh in guys' minds. You know, and you can go back quickly and they recognize it and still remember it as opposed to, you know, 3-4 weeks ago. So it does make it a little bit easier, but it also gives them the same opportunities, you know, to make adjustments that are more fresh in their guys' minds also.
Do you like that scheduling work? And I think later in the season you guys have a couple where like you're in Miami for 2 games, you're in Charlotte for 2 games, you're in 3 games. Do you like that part of the schedule?
I mean, I think it depends on how good your team is, to be honest with you. You know, but it does help in preparation, you know, to know exactly what you're facing. I also think it's helpful for the postseason because it gives you that same kind of a feel with the day in between, and now you figure out your adjustments. So I think the experience is good for long term as well, but it does make preparation easier.
How do you judge when a player's having a good game despite maybe the ball not going in the basket from a shooting standpoint?
I mean, there's other things that we value. You know, like we value the defensive end of the floor. You know, we value whether or not he's creating opportunities for other people. We value how hard he's competing and how selfless he's playing the game. So whether or not shots go in or don't go in, if they're doing those other things that we value, we consider that a good game.
Then how did you judge how Karis played the other night despite a bad shot?
I mean, I think he did the right things. When you go back and look at it over and over again, like he got his shots. I think he finished with 8 assists. You know, he defended his matchup well. So I thought he played well, and that's been pretty consistent for Karis. You know, whether the shots are going or not, he's done the right things and he's played well for us.
We've had some spectacular scoring performances, so it's easy to get lost in the shuffle. But Evan seems like he's getting a lot more of a flow offensively, especially getting into the paint using the shoulder. Just how do you think he's coming along so far, especially because you guys said he didn't have a preseason, so.
I think, you know, he's taken the steps that we expected. You know, just the amount of minutes that he's played, you know, give him an opportunity to catch the rhythm. You know what I mean? Like, again, missing preseason is huge. Like, missing those games is huge. So playing at NBA speed has been good for him. But, I mean, I think he's gone, 22, 19, and 16 the past few games. You know, double-digit rebounds in some of those. Like, he's figuring out his rhythm. But I think he's playing really, really well. I just think, again, you know, he's been overshadowed by some of the other nights, but, you know, he's been really consistent and at a high level.
He's also gotten the free throw line a bit more, shooting so much better so far to start the season from the free throw line than he was last season. You noticed, you know, an attention to those areas for him?
Yeah, I mean, it's free money at the free throw line, but what he is he's aggressive, and that's what we've talked about is how he asserts himself and how attack-minded he is in the game. And, you know, when he gets the ball, he's a threat to the defense because he's in attack position. And, you know, whether it's a mismatch or a bigger guy, you know, the first thing guys want to do is put their hands on him. So if he's going forward and they're putting their hands on him, you know, it allows him to get to the free throw line. But if he's not attack-minded, he doesn't get to the free throw line.
J.B., I know it's still early, obviously, but when you kind of look at these 6 games, what has stood out as like areas where, okay, here's an element for us to work on in practice, or this kind of talking and shoot around, et cetera, on either end of the floor?
I mean, it's, you know, we had a long conversation about it today, but it's the consistency on the defensive end of the floor. You know, you can go and look at the numbers from our first halves to our second halves, you know, and we're a completely different team. And, I mean, even going into the overtime games, you look at what our defensive numbers are in the overtime, it's like, I mean, it's night and day. So, you know, how do we become more consistent on that end of the floor? And, you know, again, the word standard isn't used lightly. And how do we play to our standard every single night in every quarter, right? Like, we found pockets and moments, but like quarter by quarter, are we holding ourselves to our standards? That's areas we can improve.
Have you seen something in those first halves, like defensively, that is like kind of creating that massive, you know, the difference
Right.
between the two halves?
Right. I mean, it's the attention to detail, and it's a bunch of small things. You know, it's you know, communication in transition. It's allowing people, you know, to break down closeouts and those types of things that in the second half we just don't allow. So, you know, the great thing is it's not things that we're not capable of. It's things that we can correct. We just got to hold each other to it.
On a lighter note, have you appreciated Darius on the bench these past few games?
I only see him on film. I try to ignore him during the games. But, I mean, again, it's his spirit, right? The guys love it. He loves his teammates. So, you know, he's entertaining. My kids talk about it all the time. So they enjoy it, as long as they get a kick out of it.
Why are you guys such a great three-point shooting team this year?
I mean, I think we're creating open shots. You know, we got the right guys taking those open shots. And, you know what I mean, like, I hope that we took lessons from last year. And last year, you go back and look at the numbers, we created open shots at a high level. We didn't make them. So guys took that over the summer to put time in to making sure when they had their opportunity and they got open shots, they'd be ready to knock them down. And then, you know, having your teammates support and encouragement and confidence gives you the confidence to take the next one and make it, and not think about the last one if you didn't.
Did you know immediately, JB, when you acquired Donovan, that you could be this kind of three-point shooting team, or is there something that you saw in training camp preseason that made you believe that?
I knew our numbers would increase for sure because of, you know, I mean, on his own, you know, he shot around 10 threes last year, right? So I knew our number would increase. You know, you watch the way that the game is being played and how teams are defending, you know, and what you can do to attack it if you've got the right people who can get in the paint, and then you can find those shots. So I knew we'd be able to get open ones. And then it's just a trust in the guys putting in the time that they've done to make them, because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to.
Just for clarity, has Darius done contact work yet?
He's done enough to go ahead and play if he's going to play. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Darius celebrating on the bench. Last year you talked about the importance of the guys being around the team. It's only been a couple of games that he's missed, but do you see that as a beneficial thing for him to be able to just kind of slide right in when he is able to come back with all the changes that have been made?
Yeah, I mean, it's one watching, you know what I mean? But, like, he's watching with an eye on what's happening and why it's happening. So when he does come back, he understands, and he's participating even though he's not out on the floor. So, you know, his personality, you know, the way he carries himself, like, it's engaging. His teammates love him. So it's like when he's a part of it, and that's the most difficult thing about being injured, is you're often isolated. So him still continuing to be a part of it will help translate him back on the court more easily.